Have you ever noticed that your plants are beginning to grow with a vengeance in early spring? Well, that is because the soil temperatures are beginning to rise and your plants are excited about that. And I'm excited too this morning because Jennifer from Floral Greens Farmers of Florida has invited us out to see what our farmers go through during this challenging but beautiful time of year. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Jennifer with the Floral Greens Farmers of Florida. The spring flush is an exciting time of the year for the farm. It's the time when all of our crops put on new growth, the new foliage fronds for that next season. So we get a lot of bright green colors, a lot of life coming back from the winter. A lot of things that start happening with nature that causes the plants to flush out. Warm weather, rain, soil temperatures, all plays into the timing of a flush. This year we had a very warm winter until late in the season. So a lot of things actually started putting on growth before it was truly spring flush time, and then they got burned by a really bad freeze that we had. It's not always a perfect science, but most all of our crops flush at the same time of the year. So we'll monitor our crops daily. Most all of our farmers here in Florida have crop supervisors that are constantly riding through the ferneries. So they're gonna tell us what stage that our plants are in when that flush starts to happen. And it's particularly important with crops like Pittosporum. When they start flushing out, then you literally can't cut a stem until that's finished and ready, hardened enough to cut. So it could be 3 to 4 weeks without Pittosporum. But our crop supervisors are awesome at communicating with all of us and letting us know when it's go time and when it's time to hold back. Yeah, so the length of time that the spring flush usually happens is about 3 to 4 weeks all in. Some things you can start cutting a little earlier than that. Some things take a little bit longer than that. It also all depends on the stage that you stopped cutting things in the winter. We had a tremendous winter season and a tremendous Valentine's. So all the local growers were pretty much cut out fairly early with a lot of the different woody ornamentals particularly. So I believe those started flushing a little earlier than they would in a normal season where we were a little later in cutting the major crops out. So with a lot of things, it's by look and by feel. My test when Pitt comes into our cooler to test whether it's ready to cut or not is it's just a simple feel for me. And by one touch, I can feel if that frond's too soft and it's gonna make it, or if it's got that nice little crispness to it and it's ready to go. Pomosis is one of our all-time favorite crops. It's also the original foliage that we all grew and sold. I think this is one of my favorite spring flush transitions because you get these fun little whips that come out and it just looks like a stem that's coming out of the ground. And then off of each of the whips, you get these little teeny foliage pops that come off, and then it starts to uncurl and you'll see the fronds and then eventually feathers out into that. But it's just a really fascinating transition to see these singular whips with really no sign of life turn into the beautiful asparagus Pomosis fern that we all love.
Well, this really is an exciting time of year. It was pretty amazing to be able to see everything starting to bloom right in front of my eyes. And I'm super impressed with our farmers and how they're able to wait for the perfect time to cut their crops. For those floral bouquets, they're gonna be beautiful and green and luscious, and I definitely would not be able to make that happen. Anyway, I learned something new today. I hope you did too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Just like everything blooms and grows in the spring and animals have babies in the spring, it's that time of the year for the plants too. This is the iron curtain. We missed Bobby and Booger by a minute. Dang it.
Spring flush is on the way.